So Chris, who's represented by this empty space next to me because he has a horrible cold and he's coughing up blood and he decided not to do that next to me. He and I met in college. We started taking animation classes together. We were best friends, our best friends. We both grew up like making short films in our backyards when we were in like the 5th grade. I was writing like really weird parody skits for like the talent show. Chris was doing similar stuff. We both had a love of animation and you know, came up with The Simpsons, you know, on the Tracy Ullman show when that started out. I remember like watching that show, which I didn't get, but just for those little shorts. And then going to animation festivals when I was 12, and I just like had an affinity for it and an interest in it. And Chris had the same, and Chris was really into comedy and comics, and he had a comic in the school, in the Dartmouth paper. We went to Dartmouth, and then I had like a half-ass one. But we made these, we spent our senior year making these like ridiculous student films in animation. They were like 11 minutes long, which is like the most epic length for a student animated short. Like if you told that to the people at CalArts, they would like laugh you out of the place. But we were, you know, in this like tiny animation program, one professor who was like an independent animation guy, and so our background was like handmade films, a Bolex duct taped to the floor, pointed down, like really simple means, just colored pencils and like pads of paper, like nothing very sophisticated about it. Chris interned for this guy Bill Plimpton, who's a big animation guy, and a guy that we both loved, and he stole this process from Bill, where like Bill would like do these quick sketches on like regular animation paper and then photocopy them onto transparencies that you could get at like Office Depot, and then cell paint them in the back, and then we would draw on top of them with these like watercolor crayons that somehow stuck to the top. And anyway, so we came up with, we had this little factory, and there's like a weird, we are the worst people to ask about how to like break into Hollywood, because Chris, through a series of like wacky coincidences, gets a phone call in his like shithouse dorm room, which is no bigger than a queen size bed or a full size bed, from some guy at Disney. And what happened was there was an article about Chris in a Dartmouth like publication. Michael Eisner's son had gone to Dartmouth a couple years ahead of us, so they were always sending it to the Eisner household. Eisner somehow gets this thing, gives it to this guy Charles Hirschhorn, who's like a big exec there, who gives it to this guy Dean Valentine, who's a big TV exec, who gives it to this guy Barry Blumberg, who was like a Disney Saturday morning television exec. This supposedly happened on like the corporate jet. And by the time it gets to Barry, it goes from being like, hey, check these guys out, to being like, these are Eisner's boys, you've got to get them a job. And so they call Chris and like, we want to fly you out. And Chris makes like 2 stupid mistakes. He says, well, I have midterms, and so I'm really busy right now. And the other one is, can I bring my friend Phil? And so what happens is, we like put them off for like 3 months. We use that as an excuse to move to California. We come out here. We have one interview, it lasts 5 minutes. We basically think we tank it, and the next day they say, we want to give you a development deal.